after my divorce, I had to get out of the scarcity mindset. My bank account was on zero. Some of them, like we took a screenshot, made a YouTube video of it, because I came up with it and I told my team, I'm like, look at this. Look how bad this was. But I had to rewire who I was becoming, because money couldn't change me. Even though I had millions after that, it's great because now it can afford me a lot of things, but what it didn't do was change the core of who I was, right? And a lot of people think once they reach this level of success, once they have this thing, once they get here, they're gonna feel a certain way, where I'm like, no, honey, you feel like that now and attract those things into your life, right? The thing I was searching for on that yoga mat, I have now. It's fulfillment, it's peace. It's like I wake up every day so excited about my life, right?
Hey there, thank you so much for tuning in to the Amberly Lago Show. Today, I have an amazing guest that has flown into Dallas to share her wealth of knowledge. Actually, if you are ready to be more fulfilled and have wealth and happiness and not work as hard, but work like a little bit less and have a more fulfilled life, Shamina Taylor is here. She is an expert. She's an author. She's a speaker. Thank you so much for being here on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Amberly.
Oh my goodness. Well, I want to get right into the meat of the subject, because you are an attorney turned wealth expert, and you help women like really become successful and wealthy and more fulfilled. I want to talk to you about exactly what was that transformational point when you were like, okay, being an attorney is not where I want to be. I want to go this other route. What was that transformational journey for you?
Well, we only have a certain amount of time, so I'm going to give you the edited version, but it was very pivotal, this moment in my life.
Yeah.
There's a before and after to it. And maybe many of you have had that moment where you're like, I can't go back to the way things were before. A lot of my clients and myself have this aha moment that happens. And for me, it happened to be on a yoga mat. And it was 2013, January. I had just finished a bodybuilding competition because I was really big into fitness. And
I did not know that you were in a bodybuilding competition.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time, and my girlfriend joined me because everybody wanted to be fit, because that's what I did. I was like, I've been lifting weights for 30-something years, so it's been one of the things that I actually attribute to growing backwards, to be honest with you, but I sidetrack. But I went to this yoga studio. My girlfriend was going to be filmed on TV, and I always wanted to be on TV. So she's like, we're getting B-roll. So I said, okay, I'll go in there. I've only done yoga maybe 3 times. And at that point in my life, I was wearing I could wear whatever I want to. Everything was feeling good. I went up to the cameraman and I said, hey, don't pan on me too much because I don't know what I'm doing. But really what I was trying to tell him is, make sure you look at me because the star is here, kind of thing, Anyways, we got into this yoga class, and I wanted to win the yoga class because I was very competitive back then, where you go into yoga and you win yoga. So that's not what you do when you go into yoga. You go into yoga to relax and find peace.
But do you know what, Shamina? That's why it's hard for me to go to yoga, because I'm so competitive, and I will do things that I know my body and my leg is not even meant to bend in that position, but I will do it and end up hurting myself. So I think we have a lot in common.
Oh, you're going to hear the rest of this story. And it's crazy because I'm sure some of you are the same way. Well, I get into this class. My girlfriend put my mat off to the side because I'm no expert. And I put my phone down beside me, and I went into this. We started. And you know how they say in yoga, are you enjoying your best life, or you're having your best, the stuff they say in there, right? And so I'm on the mat, and we were about 15 minutes in, and I was getting really annoyed with her because she was making us go do a bunch of up and down dog downs, and I was getting upset because it was like P90X, and I was like, how am I going to win, and you keep making me do these down dogs all the time? And so I look over my phone, I'm like, only 15 minutes had passed. I'm like, I have 45 more minutes of this. I was getting frustrated. And then she says, okay, everybody put your left leg this way, put your right leg this way. And I was like, what? My legs don't go this way, but I'm like, I'm going to do it because I'm going to win at yoga, right? So I get one of those little quirky box things that they give you to support you if you're, I hold on to it. I'm putting my one leg this way, one leg that way, and my legs are shaking, my hips are shaking, and I could feel the pain pulsating through me, but I was not going to fail at this move because I win, right? I do everything. But as I'm going through and I'm feeling this pain, and she's asking us, are you happy with your life? Are you content? And I'm like, no, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. And as I was feeling this pain turned so excruciating, I started crying in the class.
Oh, wow.
And then it turned into emotional pain. And before I knew it, I had left my body, it seemed like. I started bawling on this mat. She's asking me if I'm happy. I'm like, I don't know who Shamina is anymore. And for the first time in years, maybe even a decade, I had cried. And I was just finally releasing all these emotions that I had kept inside of me. And I just realized I had all the things that you're supposed to have. Like I had the husband, the children. We went to Europe in the summertime. We went to the Caribbean in the winter. I had the cars. I had the house. I had, I had my own law firm. He had his business. Like, what more? I mean, I had the perfect body, and yet I was sitting here not happy. Like I wasn't fulfilled. And so I got out of that pose, which was called the frog pose. And that opens up your hips, because all your hips hold your emotions.
Oh.
And so this was where the big release happened. I had snot all over, the ugliest cry in my life, and I said, something has to change. I've got to do something from here. And that was the pivotal moment where I realized that I had entered a life that was so perfect on the outside, and I'd been wearing a mask for so many years. My ex-husband and I had brought, because now he's my ex-husband, we had brought a lot of our trauma into our relationship that we had not dealt with. And I had trauma from a young age when I was 16, and I had physical abuse from my father, where I've healed through it now. It took me a long time, where there was a point, I'm not going to get to the whole story, where he was very violent and I thought he was going to kill me one night. And it was just one of those things that I never got healed. And I spent years not understanding. I didn't even know what trauma was. I didn't even know that you could feel anything, because my parents never said, hey, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Did your parents ever say that? No one's parents ever say that. Like, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? And so they went on a journey of trying to figure out what went wrong. And that is where I pivoted. I realized that there's other women that were just like me, that were also experiencing this. The thing that made me so successful was also the thing that was poisoning me at the same time. That was an unhealed part of inside of me that kept pushing me to live in suffering, to live in survival mode, to be in a state, because I could be so successful. You tell me what to do. I'm the most coachable woman in the world. I'll go achieve it. And
I can tell that from the moment you came into the studio. Are you kidding me? I was like, yeah. From the moment I met you in person, I could tell that. And I'm so interested for you to share about how we have this relationship with money.
Yes.
And how so many women have a relationship with money, where women with trauma have a different relationship with money.
Yes.
I was fascinated by that, because I was like, I definitely have some trauma with my stepfather and my father.
Sure.
And how does that make my relationship with money different?
So while I was going through this awakening and this understanding, I realized that I had to create my own level of protection, because I didn't feel protected by my father.
Yeah.
So the masculine in my life left me feeling unsafe. So my whole entire life, I created a false sense of masculine, because our dominant thing as women is to be in our feminine, right? Where we're allowed to be beautiful, we're allowed to be creative, intuitive, all the things that make us soft feminine energy. But when you go through a certain level of unsafety, your nervous system gets dysregulated. So then you seek other places so that you can escape your body, and which is a lot of why people are so busy. Women will be in that, I'm so busy, I've got this something else to do, because they don't want to be in their body because it's hard. And so I figured this out when I started seeing the pattern with thousands of women that I've mentored, is that the way we look at money is for protection, right? If you won't have a roof over your head, you won't have food on your table if you don't have money. The safety, it feels unsafe. So if you don't have it, right? Even if you have more money, some women have millions of dollars and they still don't feel safe, because money does not change you. It gives you a false sense of safety. And this is why a lot of women don't want to invest in programs or do things like, what if I don't get my money back? What if it goes away? What if it gets lost? Or what if someone takes advantage of me, right? So if we look at money as being masculine, and the way we receive it is feminine, but we are in our masculine state to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't have polarity with energies. We're chasing money all the time. And so if we learn to re-regulate or balance out our masculine energy, which is what I teach, We then find a different way of excelling ourselves into more wealth, more success, more peace, not having to work so hard for money, not equating working hard with suffering. Things get to be much easier than the way that we've presented them. So money, every time I ask someone about how they feel about money, I can ask them what they think about it. I can always equate it back to either the masculine on their father or their mother. The mother could have been very masculine, or some relationship where they felt unsafe. We have 3 core wounds: abandonment, betrayal, and unworthiness. And I can look in someone's business and I can see how much money they're making. I can see the pattern of it, and I can see most likely what their dominant core wound is.
So wait, abandonment,
betrayal, and unworthiness.
Yeah. Those are the 3 things. And you can look and see somebody's business and see, because I hear things like I just heard, so I have a mastermind for women, and I had one of the women in the mastermind say, well, I really want to invest in this PR company. I want to be in some magazines and be in media, but I don't have the money. I don't have the money for it. How can somebody like that shift their thinking? What would you say to somebody in that position where you're hearing that, where they're like, I want to do these things, but I don't have the money to invest in that? What would you say to that?
First things first, she doesn't have the money right now, maybe physically, let's say.
Yeah.
But usually when women say they don't have the money, they do have the money, but they just don't feel like they can go use that money and allocate it over here into this area. So when they want to make investment, because it's scary. I don't know if hiring this PR firm is going to return. What if I make this investment and it goes away and it's my last $10,000? And what am I in my bank account? They don't believe more is coming. And one of the core things that I had to really instill in myself when I didn't have the money starting over after being divorced is to believe that more money was coming. Because if you can be in the belief that more was coming, you would be in abundance. So abundance state of mind requires you to eliminate all of the scarcity mindset. So which requires you to go find the root cause of where it came from. Because if you're in scarcity and you believe it could be wasted, it could be, taken from you. These are all like victim mindset, right?
Yeah.
Because scarcity is rooted in victim mindset. So this is not saying that if you've ever had an incident where you were victimized, because I was victimized, but I made a choice not to be a victim anymore.
Yeah.
And that put me into abundance. So now I believe I'm always supported by the masculine. I'm always supported by money. So everything that I do now goes into the place. Well, of course I can buy my car check, I can buy a Rolex, I can buy a G-Wagon, I can do whatever. I can have my assistants, I could have a big team. I have a big team. I can be supported because I know how to receive. I also know how to be supported. I also know that whatever I do, as long as in my highest good, the wealth will come in. So for her, I would look at her unfairness story. Where is she walking around with a story saying, that was unfair? You know how kids say that all the time? It's unfair. You get it and I don't, right? So there's an unfairness story. And the unfairness story will be supported by the betrayal. What was unfair? Why did he leave me? Why did he go why did he cheat on me? That's so unfair. It's so unfair. You don't know. My parents gave attention to the oldest child. It's unfair. It's unfair that this happened. It's unfair that my hand was hurt in an accident. It was unfair that this happened to me. And when that story of unfairness still lives and breathes, you can make money, but it will just find a way out the door somewhere else.
It's so interesting because my husband always, he tells my youngest daughter, life isn't fair. Get over it. That's what he says to her. And I'm like, why are you telling her life isn't fair? You know what I mean? I swear, I feel like she's going to need a therapist because he says things like, don't cry. You shouldn't cry. And I'm like,
because big girls don't cry.
Yeah. And I'm like, girl, you cry it out, because for years I didn't cry.
Me too.
I shut down completely.
Ice queen mode.
Oh yeah. And so it's like when you're parenting with children and teaching them about money, it's very interesting. In fact, so my youngest daughter is a little entrepreneur. My oldest daughter, I was telling you before we started recording, she's at Yale going to school. And my youngest daughter, she wants to get a truck. here in Texas, like she loves to fish, she rides her horse, and she wants her she wanted a F-250. We're getting her a F-150. And we're talking to her about getting a job and earning money. And she goes, Mom, why would I go work at some store where I'm getting minimum wage when I can literally make $300 a day doing what I love? And that's what she does. She has this Briar collection, these horses that she has, and she sells them on a site and makes all this money. Meanwhile, her friends are making minimum wage. So she's working smarter, not harder. She's already got that attitude. But as far as parenting and talking about wealth and money and how you view things, I know I had a lot of issues around money. Like, it was hush hush.
Yeah, you don't talk about.
Grew up in the Bible Belt of Texas. You don't talk about money. You give all your money away to the church or whatever. Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's how.
I know.
You don't talk about it. And I think I had to switch my thinking about money.
You sure did.
And I had to think, well, the more money I make, the more people I can help. And that is what really shifted it for me. And I started to make more money, was how I changed my view about money. What would you suggest somebody do who feels stuck, that they want to make more money and they just are like, I don't know how. How can they start to shift their mindset?
Well, I have so many things to say about what you just said. And for one of them, it's like, I believe you get to be unapologetically rich. That's it. You don't have to make money to give it away. You don't have to make money to justify it, because then it comes back into scarcity. So I'm giving it to someone else. I feel
that's a good point.
If you just want it, you just get to have it. And you know, when I bought my G-Wagon, I had people saying in my neighborhood, or you're crazy, why would you spend $300,000 on a truck, or blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, because I can. And the money came in for it. And more money comes in when I satisfy my desires. So I always say start off really small. I have a trick I'm going to tell you in a minute. But another thing about, you know, there's nowhere that I know of, and I have other teachers, and I'm not an expert at the Bible, so I'm not going to say this, and I'm not going to get into religious stuff, but it's all about abundance in there. Nowhere in it does it say that you can't have, and the only way you can have is if you give first. Because in order for others to prosper, you want to prosper first, and you can give, but you don't have to give to get.
Yeah.
Like, if you're giving to get, I feel like you're doing it in a strategic point. So I just give because I love to give. I have an overflow. My children, we've broken generational trauma when it comes to money. And I'll tell you, even though they fly first class, they have a lot of wonderful things. The moment my daughter entered school, she said, Mom, I'm getting a job. I want to go. Her dad has his own company. He has some connections. She gets up at 6 o'clock. She's a cheerleader. She's very organized, disciplined. She's like, I want to go make my own money. She goes, I know I don't have to work because, you know, both of our parents are wealthy. She's like, but I want to work and make my own money so I can value myself. Yeah. So when she realizes that her own value and own worth of how she's exchanging time for money, she's now realizing what she wants to do. Yeah. And so this morning she texted me, she was like, I'm going to work all these days because my birthday's Thursday, and she's calculating how much money she's going to make, and she's seeing like her value. So when people are, you know, looking at things as an exchange of, I have to get the last drop of something. Let's say I had a client, and I'm going to get to the point in a minute about how they're going to help you, but I wanted you to get to the mindset of where you could be thinking that you don't even have the awareness, because awareness is the key to fixing things, right? So if you don't know even you're doing it. So I used to have a client, we'd have a 60-minute one-on-one when I used to do one-on-one. I'd given her all the things, helped her through. It would be 59 minutes, and she'd be like, I'm like, all right, I'll see you next week. Oh, can you give me some journaling prompts, something else? She felt like if she didn't take up that whole entire 60 minutes, she didn't get her money's worth, because it's that lack mindset will come in so many different places. Like if I didn't get it on sale, if I didn't get a deal, then it was like if you paid full price, you were being robbed or cheated out of money. So I'll give you an example. I want you to find where you're exchanging money, and one of those 3 core wounds might come up, and you might not even see that it's coming up. I have this thing that I do every single day, and I've already done it this morning, whereas I go to Starbucks and I get my matcha tea. I absolutely love matcha tea. I used to be a coffee drinker back in the day when I was a bodybuilder, but I was addicted to it. So I'm like, I need to kick this. So I was at LAX, and I was at an airport there, and I told them I don't drink coffee. She's like, why don't you try this matcha? I was like, all right, I'll try this matcha. So she, gave me the drink, and she goes, that'll be 80 cents. I was like, 80 cents. I'm robbing Starbucks right now. I'm like, I am only paying 80 cents for this drink. I thought I won the lottery because I'm a deal girl back then, right? Anything that was on sale, I was getting things at a minimum. And don't get me wrong, I still like things on sale, but I don't buy just because they're on sale. And that's all I did before. So I was like, for years, a couple of years, I was like getting my matcha for 80 cents. It was amazing. And then Starbucks decided, oh, wait a minute. Too many people are doing this. We need to fix this. Then they decided nothing's on the menu till this day, by the way, for this, but they're like, we're going to start charging $2.75 for this. The moment that they did that, I was up in arms. I wanted to call the regional manager. I was so upset, like, how dare you charge me this? Nothing has changed with this drink. And I realized I kept getting triggered every time they would raise the price. Again, it would go up to 3 something. I went over again, I got triggered. And a couple of years later, it went up to 4 something, and it was 2020. And we were all leaving the house to go somewhere at that time. And so we were taking our trip to Starbucks like we did. And I was with my kids in the car. My business was making some, pretty good money. But I was still, prior to that, getting triggered. But we were in the line to go up to the window. I saw that the price had gone up to $4.38 or something, or 4 something. And I was like, again? And as I was saying, they were going, why are you upset, Shamina? Why do you get so upset and triggered whenever they raise the price? What is it? I go, and they started doing this thing where I'm like, where's this coming from? Because it's not the matcha. You have the money. It's not Starbucks, because they can charge whatever they want. Anybody can charge what they want. No one's supposed to, they're not supposed to meet me at my scarcity mindset over here, what I'm going through. Starbucks gets to charge what they want, not worry about if I'm willing to pay, because everybody's paying for those drinks over there, right?
Yeah.
They came out, they're like, we're charging $8, right? So I'm at the window. And I'm like, I'm just going to pay this as the wealthiest woman as I can be right now, because I am a wealthy woman. Paid it. And I was like, that felt so good. My daughter goes, as I was going to pay it, but before I was going to pay it, my daughter goes, Mom, why don't you pay for the people behind you? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay for the people behind me. So I paid for the people behind me. My son goes, what about the people behind them? I was like, you know what? I'm going to pay for them too. And then I said, you know what? Add the third car in there too. And I was like, I felt like Oprah in that moment, like that Oprah moment where like,
and you get a car, and you get a car.
So I was like, everybody gets a car, everybody gets the, and I was like, this feels so good. I can give. And then I said, this is what it is. You purchased that with the most regulated nervous system because you were no longer getting triggered by it, right? Well, I pull out of the parking lot, and before I hit the light, I had a 10K payment come through my Stripe, an unexpected amount of money. And I was like, what the heck?
Wow.
How many places have I been blocking money because I've been feeling this resistance, or I've been having this reaction? I've been in this scarcity because it was betrayal I was feeling. Because how could they betray me and charge me more? And nothing had changed. I'm happy to announce the drink is $5.38. They did another increase recently, and I pay it because it's the most, I love it. It makes me happy. And so I'm paying it in a state now, knowing that this is something that I enjoy. But I went in to find out where the betrayal was, and I had to work on that. So find out where you get triggered when you're investing money, like your client that wants to purchase, or hire the publicist. What makes you feel like you don't have the money? If you physically don't, then I want you to start seeing where you do have money. Where in your life can you start finding the abundance? It's so important to start programming yourself to see what's there and not what's missing. I don't see the glass half full or half empty. For me, it's overflowing. Like it's everywhere. So if I started tipping people extra too, because that's where
I always do that because I was a waitress for years.
But that's where the scarcity will come in. People will do that. They'll be like, well, the meal wasn't that good, and they'll take it out on the waitress. They'll be like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to give her $20. I'm going to give her $15. Today, someone did my hair, and instead of giving what they actually said on the thing there, I thought that was great because she kept asking me, like, do you like it? I gave her, double because it made me feel good to do that for her because I love service. And it's just when you start small, I'm not saying you have to do that double, but maybe you give $2 extra and see if it butts up against a belief system for yourself. Find out where the scarcity and unfairness story is and work your way back to it. I mean, obviously I have other systems that they have to do, but it's living there, and you'll see more wealth will open up, because wherever those beliefs are, they're blocking your wealth consciousness. They're blocking the expansion of more in your life. They're blocking what else can come in, because you're protecting yourself for feeling the pain, the disappointment, the fear, the whatever it is that you don't want to feel about whatever is behind door number 1 or whatever when it comes to that story.
Yeah, well, I have sheets of questions here that I've written down to ask you, and I'm so fascinated by everything that I haven't even looked.
Go. We'll go fast.
I haven't even looked at my sheet, but I want to know, how do you work on your worthiness so you feel like you're worthy of being paid whatever it is you're charging to coach a client, or for a mastermind, or for an event, or any of those things? Like, how does someone start to work on their worthiness so that they step into their full power and they feel worthy of asking that price?
So this is a very big area that I see for many women who have not stepped into abundance fully. So they're undercharging, over-delivering on everything. They have everything plus a kitchen sink in one offer.
Yeah.
I am the high-ticket queen. So I know that you can charge whatever, I believe that. And it's not just because I feel so worthy. You have to give the content too and the value with it. But one of the things that I would start working on is stop, just like the Starbucks story, stop looking at what you think people will pay. And don't look at the eyes through your clients or with a prospect. Because if you know that this has great value, it has an amazing ROI, then this is what you charge for it. You're going to attract people who are looking for value.
Yeah.
They're not looking for 60 minutes of time exchange. They're the people that are looking, that are still in scarcity, like, what is included? What's in there? And I always say you need to stop taking those clients in, because they'll be the clients that cause you the most issues. And I'm not saying that there's not a place for them, but they're the ones that are in scarcity, and they're going to be like, well, you didn't give me this. Where's the bonus? Where's this thing? Where's that thing? I'm like, I can't help you anymore.
Exactly. And they don't understand that it is, I think, the relationship and the time that you have together. It's like, I feel like the people who even really value my mastermind are the people that show up, they do the work, and they build that relationship, and they know that I'm going to introduce them to this person and that person and have them on my show, have them on my stage. And
Value-based.
it's value, and
yeah.
it's I feel like all based on that relationship so much. It's not like, oh, you get this 60-minute call with me, or this group call, or this, which a lot of people, you can tell that that's what it is. They want, how many minutes do I get? How much time do, you know what I mean?
They're programmed to think that way, and that's what keeps them in scarcity. So then they price their programs that way. So I have such a great scale of how it is. So let's say I have programs from 10,000 to 55,000, and let's say the higher ticket, right? And
tell me about your programs. I want to know,
sure.
What's the 10,000 and what's all the way up to the 55,000?
Right. So the 10,000 is a Millionaire Mastermind program, and it's a 6-month program. And what we do is, you can have a business or not a business, and you go into this program. I will help you rewire the stories, because I believe the thing that really made me accelerate very fast in this world is that I had emotional mastery. So I started teaching emotional mastery to all the women, and when they go through that bottom line of figuring out, why do I get triggered? Because I had to figure out what triggers are. Why do I respond this way? Why do I have resentment? Because resentment is scarcity. Why am I perfectionist? Well, perfectionism is scarcity. All of these things, I help them learn how to basically have the emotions that they want to have and not be reactory of what's going on. So when you see that, you can start seeing what your relationship is with money. And so that I help them rewire their money. I also help them go from a wounded masculine, wounded feminine, into an evolved alpha female. That's one of my programs that's in there. So that you can now be very balanced in your energies, because when you know to tap into that feminine, what starts happening is you don't have to work. You don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. I wake up when I'm done sleeping. That's when I wake up, okay? When one woman was trying to
doing that lately. I slept until 6 a.m.
You didn't sleep in, you woke up when you were ready.
I slept, I was like, I was like, wow, I was sleeping in
but
late.
But don't you feel great though? Because
it makes me feel better, yeah.
Absolutely. You have an intentional day.
Yeah.
Instead of being because when women have to wake up at 5, get so much done, they've already put their nervous system in dysregulation. So they're in the do. And I believe it's like they miss the lesson on be, do, have. They're trying to have, do, be. And so they're trying to get them.
Repeat that again.
Okay.
Everything she shares is amazing. Okay. Repeat that again.
They're trying to have, do, be. So have the things, do the action to be happy. And you've got to or be wealthy, let's say, because the money will make me feel wealthier. But my thing is, you better become the wealthy woman now. Be that woman. Then do everything in that energy, then to have the life that you want. I had it backwards before when I was an attorney.
And I heard your interview with Elena Cardone, and she was like, I, for years, told myself I was a billionaire. I became that billionaire.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And so when she told me that, I was like, girl, that's why we're friends. Because after my divorce, I had to get out of the scarcity mindset. My bank account was on zero. Some of them, like we took a screenshot and made a YouTube video of it, because I came up with it and I showed my team. I'm like, look at this. Look how bad this was. But I had to rewire who I was becoming, because money couldn't change me. Even though I had millions after that, it's great because now it can afford me a lot of things. But what it didn't do was change the core of who I was, right? And a lot of people think once they reach this level of success, once they have this thing, once they get here, they're going to feel a certain way. Where I'm like, no, honey, you feel like that now and attract those things into your life, right? The thing I was searching for on that yoga mat, I have now. It's fulfillment. It's peace. It's like I wake up every day so excited about my life, right? Most women that are hustling in that masculine energy keep hitting these limits all the time, and they never feel good enough. Their unworthiness wound keeps creeping up. They never celebrate themselves. They never allow themselves to be like, I'm amazing. When I made my first million, I was like, well, I'm not going to tell anybody about that because everybody did that. And I'm like, no, you got to celebrate yourself. Because if I celebrate, then they're going to stay stuck and they won't get to that next level. So I'm like, you can't exhaust yourself out. You have to find a different way. So to access more money, find out what your ideas are about money. What do you really feel about it? Do you really think that the having of the more of it's going to change you? What if I waved a magic wand right now and said, you know what, Amberly, bam, you got everything you want. What's next? You got to go to the what's next now. You know what I mean? And get into that state of. And so I believe every day we condition ourselves to be who we want to really be, act in that state. If you want to be a wealthy woman, go eat at Capitol Grill at the bar, have an appetizer, go or wherever you want to go. I'm not saying Capitol Grill, but I say everybody should fly first class or private, which I'm going to do tonight. By the way, we get on private jet.
Well, I love that. And I had Dr. Joe Vitale on the show.
Oh, nice.
And we've become friends, and we were talking, and he was like, we were talking about speaking, and he said, oh, yeah, in your speaker's contract, you say that you need to fly first class. And I was like, oh gosh, but I don't need to fly first class. That's what I was saying. Right. He goes, no, you say in your contract, you fly first class and this and that, and you know what? I did.
Good.
And now I fly first class. And it was crazy. The first time I flew first class, I sat in the seat and I didn't even really know how everything worked. And I look at the guy next to me and I'm like, yeah, this is the first time I've ever been in first class. Like, where's the tray? How do you work this?
I love it.
It was just like, it was insane.
Doesn't it feel really good?
It felt incredible.
Right.
And then I also upped my speaker fee. And so, because I thought, you know what?
To charge more though. And this is the thing, just double it. Whatever your clients are charging right now, I would say just go double it. Double it, because it's probably already undercharged right now.
Okay, well,
so double it.
At my last event,
a
couple of the speakers were like, how much do you charge for your mastermind? They were like, that is insane for all that you offer.
We'll talk after this.
We need to talk. Yeah, they were like, no. That needs to be at least doubled. Like, I cannot believe all you that
my
you
middle
offer.
program is $25,000, and then my up program is $55,000. And I did that.
And what is it? Tell me about okay, I know we're running out of time.
The Wealthy CEO is our middle program, and that's for women who haven't hit $30,000 a month yet. So we get them going with their their marketing, and I work on them first because I have them become that wealthy business owner who lives her life in luxury, and then we apply it to the way she runs her business. So she's starting off from the bat, like what she's supposed to charge, how the clients she's supposed to saying no to misaligned clients is so number one. It'll change your business. It'll change your business. But
it does change your business.
Scarcity will have you bringing in clients that are so misaligned, and then they literally suck their energy vampires.
Oh, and so, you know what? I recently had to let go of somebody that the
Good for
red
you.
flags were up, but she was in the mastermind for a short period of time, and I
Done it too.
messaged her and I said, I am so sorry, we are not aligned, and I'm giving you a refund. Here you go. And it was the best decision I made because she went off. I've never, ever had a client that has...
But I bet you 2 or 3 more aligned clients will come right in because you made room for it.
Yeah,
because if you
exactly.
get rid of the misaligned, you'll attract the people that are supposed to be with you.
Exactly.
But your scarcity will have you thinking, I need to pay the bills. Let me take this client in. Do not do it. So this is one thing I teach. I very much so. And then in the $55,000 mastermind, we have women in there that they're making $45,000. Most of them making $100,000 a month or $400,000. They're doing very well. But I can 10x their business within a couple of weeks in that mastermind. We've got clients that own ranches. They're making millions, and we've got women who own mortgage companies that have like literally 4 times 5x'd and in a short period, a down market. So it doesn't matter what area you're in, as long as you can get yourself into that next state of being and be around other women who can support you, because most women don't have good friends.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find women who can celebrate you and can have you win. And so I create a community where women can celebrate each other. Where if you are too much, girl, I want you to be too much. I want you to go out there and be the best you can be and go.
We are going to be such good friends.
I already know.
We are, I swear. Thank you, Rebecca Zung, for introducing us. Yes.
Rebecca's like one of my most abundant thinking girlfriends.
I love
because
her.
she will be my hype woman. If I have something going on, I talk to her, she's like, Shamina, don't you remember who you are? Like, she'll remind me. She's always there to lift you up. And we need more women doing this for other women instead of competing and letting our little girls who are like in their scarcity, in their that's not fair attitude. We need more women being in a place of empowering other women to grow, because it's our time.
Yeah,
it's our time to go do big things. That's why I say we get to be unapologetically rich. You don't need to justify why you want something. Be authentically yourself. Go out there, be uniquely you, say what you want to say, and do the damn thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Mic drop on that, by the way. Okay, your book, I could seriously talk to you all day. I
could talk about this all day.
I freaking love all that you're sharing. Your book is flying off bookshelves. It's a bestseller. Tell everybody a little bit about the intention behind your book, why you wrote it, where they can find it, and then where they can find you and find all that you do, whether it's your $10,000 course or your $55,000 mastermind. Tell everybody about your book and the intention behind it.
Okay, first of all, I love Amberly. I just have to say that right here, because this is a woman in abundance already sitting beside me. And I want to tell you that, because that's really important, because if you're listening to her show, really listen to it, because she's teaching you something very vital. I created this book, and I wrote this book called Unlocking the Quantum Woman. I believe there's a quantum woman in all of us, a woman she's a wealthiest woman that walks into the room. She's a woman who knows who she is. She's unapologetic. She literally stands for her everything that, about woman empowerment. She speaks her truth. That's the woman. So and she creates a reality. I believe that we have that all in us, and I have 4 keys to unlock this woman inside of you. And so when you read this book, it's going to take you on a journey. I'm going to bring some of my story in it, but not a ton. But you're going to learn how to master your emotions to basically create whatever you want in the quantum field. I believe that whatever we want and desire is in that field right now. And so when women read this book, they have ahas, they have breakthroughs. I give you journaling prompts. Go ahead and grab that book. It's on Amazon. And we have what else you want me to know? A podcast called Unapologetically Rich. And I'll tell you, women have read the book and they've listened to the podcast. I've had 3 or 4 women now.
Oh, I've binged your YouTube also. Y'all got to follow her on YouTube, on Instagram, on all your social media.
Yeah, and they made $50,000. They had their highest cash month listening to the podcast and reading the book. And so go listen to these things, and it'll help you. And we have a Facebook group called the Quantum Woman Group, and we have a mastermind. It's at 55,000. Now, obviously you heard that, but we have a program where we've got a huge community that you can come in and learn how to rewire your mindset to become the millionaire that you know. We actually have 4 millionaires in that group too. So it works. And what else did you want to know from me, honey?
Oh my gosh. Well, tell everybody the best way to find you.
Oh, the best way. Come find me on Instagram, because Instagram is the new business way of connecting.
It is.
It really is.
It really is. And that's what I explain to the people that I coach is like, I hate to say it, but Instagram is your scorecard, actually.
It really is right now.
It really is.
Yeah, it's
Every
how-
event that I go to, they don't say, oh, do you have a business card?
What's your
They
IG?
don't say, what's your email or what's your TikTok account? They say, what's your Instagram handle?
Right, yeah.
And it's the best way to connect. And I'm telling you, I booked my TEDx talk through a DM on Instagram. Booked one of my first biggest speaking gigs through a DM on Instagram. So Instagram is like
Absolutely.
where to go.
I
So
have something
Shamina
free.
Taylor.
I have something
on-
free. I have something free for your guests too.
Oh.
Our daily CEO Money Moves. It's free. Go download it. It's filled with tons of stuff. I'll give you the link. Go get it. It's going to change your life on how I have daily money moves you should be doing every day in your business and your life.
I'm gonna do it.
It'll help bring in more wealth for you.
So how do they find that?
I'll give you the link so you can go put it in your store in the comment
Okay,
section.
I'm going to add that. I'm going to put that in the link to that in the show notes. And Shamina, we are going to be friends for life, girl. Thank
Yes,
you.
we are.
Thank you.
Did you get that?
Thank you. Thank y'all for tuning in. And if you found value in this show, please take a screenshot and share it on Instagram and tag me at Amberly Lago Motivation and tag Shamina Taylor. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.